Hello, I'm Guy, and this is Guy Robot. Hello! Well, as you can probably tell, I'm back from Costa Rica and I'm finally getting around to uploading some more content again. I've got a few videos on Arch Linux coming up, but today it's time for something slightly different. I had a couple of people ask for feedback on some of the early reviews that I did on this channel in terms of how are the products a couple of years in. Are they still as good as I expected or as good as I thought they were at the time? Now, the only product I've still got that I'm still using from the early reviews I did was my chair. The DX Racer Iron Series in orange. Ooh. So the question is, well, do I still like it? I think if I'm honest, it's alright, but not amazing. It's probably the best review that I can give it. So, what do I love about it? Well, okay, so the high backrest is amazing. I'm 6'1", and I normally find it really difficult to get a backrest on a chair that actually is fully supporting of me and goes the whole way up to my head. So I can sit back without my head having kind of coming above the top. So it is amazing to actually have a backrest where I can sit back on a chair, lean back, and still have my head supported at the top of it. Also, it is comfortable. I spend far too much of my day sat in this chair. Most days I end up in front of the computer for between 8 and 12 hours. And that means I spend a lot of time sat on it. I'm not gaming, but I'm still just sat on this chair for long periods of time, mostly doing programming and not moving too much during the day. And it's supportive. I find my butt doesn't get uncomfortable, which is by far the most important thing on a chair. And it's generally alright. I've had more comfortable chairs, but I've also had a lot less comfortable chairs. I never, at the end of the day, think, God, I'm uncomfortable from sitting in that chair. So, hey, that's a good plus. My favourite thing about this chair is how nicely it leans back. So, moving forward a bit to demonstrate this, most days I end up doing meditation, and I often end up doing it on this chair. And it's amazing for just sitting back in this position, kind of legs crossed, because I can fit all my legs across the base of this seat. Ta-da! And leaning back for long periods of time. And it's a really nice kind of leaning back, almost zero gravity type position. Now, I've had a few chairs where when you lean back into that position, they kind of try and bring you forwards and then back up again. But not this one, it's happy for me to lean back. So that's nice. The other thing I really like about this is actually support from DX Racer. So I did have a problem with this. And I emailed DX Racer and they got back within, this is DX Racer Europe, and they got back within minutes for resolving the problem. They offered for replacement parts to be shipped out straight away. I was about to go on holiday, so they arranged them to be shipped to a family member. Then the courier completely messed up the shipping of it and sent it to the wrong address. And DX Racer immediately agreed to send another one at their cost with no qualms whatsoever. I have to say their support throughout the entire process was great. When I finally got to the point of putting the part on, there were some issues with it, and again, they were really, really good. So I cannot fault DX Racer's support. Definitely my experience was I got the level of support I would expect for the price that I paid for a chair. I guess what was wrong with it is something that's worth saying. So the chair basically ended up sagging a little bit, not as high as it should have been, and it didn't look like it was the gas lift. It looked like it had actually gone through the O-ring on the base somewhat. So DX Racer, without any questions or qualms, sent me a brand new base and a brand new gas lift for it, which I installed pretty quickly. And I guess that's the thing to come out. The build quality of this, alright, there was that one problem, but that happened. The build quality is amazing. This thing is actually built like a tank. Trying to get the old gas lift and base off, I almost broke a hammer, and I completely broke through a towel that I was hitting it with. Like, this is undeniably probably one of the strongest built chairs I've had. It's metal, it's really firm, can't really complain about that. And I love the styling. Like, it's got orange Go Faster stripes. What's not to love? It matches the old colour of my car. So there's a lot I do like about this chair. I mean, primarily it's comfy, it's a really good chair, and it's big enough for me. I'm not particularly large in terms of weight-wise. I'm slightly above average, but in terms of height I am. And going for the Iron Series means that I have enough room to sit fully cross-legged on this chair. I suspect if you were 300 pounds with a super wide bottom, you could still sit on this chair comfortably and not have a problem with it. But what do I not like about it? Well, the noises is one thing. This is a £400 or equivalent amount in dollars, whatever, premium chair. And I don't know if you can hear that on the mic, but the armrests just wobble. Premium things do not sound like that. And also the material itself, I don't know if we can hear this, but there's definite squeaks in it. Again, I don't really like chairs that fart when I press against them. So there's a number of things on the build quality, although the materials are good. Actually, things like having these so they were kind of firmer and didn't wobble about, and having the material so it didn't make farting noises would be good. You're paying top dollar for this chair as far as a consumer grade chair goes, so it really should have all of these things removed from it, and that is an issue. The armrests as well as the fact that they are wobbly and make noise, they're not that comfortable. I mean, they're not terrible. They've got a little bit of padding in them. They move up and down. They move forward and backwards. And you can tilt them somewhat to the sides. But I find that because it's kind of a ratchet based, actually, getting these to the exact height of my desk can be difficult. Which if you want to have perfect height for keyboard, where your arms come level with it, it just happens that I'm between two ratchet levels, and that's just a little bit annoying. They're not that comfy. I mean, I would like to see some more padding. They're kind of a soft, rubbery plastic that you can press in, but actually some of the same material as the chair itself, adding an extra bit of padding and rest for it would be nice. I don't spend all of my day sat in front of a keyboard gaming, but I spend a lot of time on the chair, and I spend a lot of time reading or with my arms sat like this, and actually a bit more support on the elbows would be really nice there. The other problems I've got are the headrest, this pillow. I can never get it to attach, as the manual said. It was particularly annoying, and it kind of stretches around the edge. It just doesn't look right. If you look how it kind of goes round and it comes out the back, you've got another way you can feed it through. But either way, it just doesn't look nice on the back of a chair. A much better way to do that would have potentially been with Velcro, or some way where actually those straps could feed through the side of it. Then there's the lumbar support at the bottom. Now this is actually pretty atrocious. So this one does indeed have a strap that goes through it. But if you look at this, it is just completely destroyed. I don't know how much you can make it out there. So over what's only 2 years, this has lost almost all of its padding. It's just completely squashed and gone to nothing. Which, again, I wouldn't really expect for a product that's only 2 years old. The important thing to note about that lumbar support is actually it was like that within a couple of months of having the chair. It went really quickly. Now it does still provide support, and it's obviously squashed into the shape of my lower back. But again, it just feels like it's not the highest quality considering the pure build quality of the frame itself. I find there's a couple of things that are just ridiculous about this. Like, okay, you can lean this chair pretty much back to a lying position. Whoa, and then we can go like this. Well, there we are. And we can lean it all the way back. Hello. Now, I guess this is kind of fun, being sat in this position. But, I mean, who actually uses that? It is very much a novelty, I think, rather than day-to-day use. I can't see many people getting that. And so rather than spending the money on the mechanism to do that and all of the R&D that went around that, just sort the basics out. Give me better armrests, give me a better connection for the head support, and give me a lumbar support that's actually half decent. The biggest thing for me that's a gripe is the chair just doesn't go high enough. So I have an IKEA desk that is one of their really cheap desks, and I've got some fairly standard legs that come with it. Now, if this chair is extended to full height and the armrests are extended, it is just about enough that my arms can sit there comfortably. If the chair could go another 2 inches higher, it would make it a hell of a lot easier. It just feels like for what, again, would have been cents to install, this could have gone just a little bit taller, and therefore it would have reached higher desks slightly easier. So there's a bunch of really small niggles on this. Is it worth the money? No, I don't think so. I've used the chair for 2 years, and it has been very comfortable. The chair I had before this, I've had for 16 years, and at the time I probably paid £150 for it 16 years ago. So I guess similar pricing in terms of what they're worth. And although this chair has more gadgets and it looks better, it doesn't feel quite as good as the old chair did. And I don't think this chair will anywhere near last 16 years. If I was going to move across the world, would I take this chair with me? No. I would have probably taken my other chair with me. I would buy another chair when I got there. And so what would I buy? Honestly, probably buy a second-hand Herman Miller chair. Now, they are the office chairs that you see. So if you go into most big major offices, you'll see kind of a grey-black mesh-matched chair. I've sat on them many a time when I've worked with clients, and I've spent I've spent thousands of hours on the things, probably as long as I've spent on this one. They're not pretty, but they are hugely adjustable in every single way, and they are comfortable. So if I was going to buy a chair again, would I buy this one? Probably not. I'd go for a second-hand Herman Miller chair and go down the office kind of route. But the one thing I cannot deny about this is how cool it looks compared to most other chairs. It certainly looks better than a normal office chair. I enjoy it, I like it, and I've got no plan of changing it just for the sake of it. But if I was doing this again, I would probably go for a second-hand ergonomic office chair instead. About the same price, £500, £400 second-hand. But the flip side of it is you get a lot better build quality on the exteriors that this thing's let down. Just quickly before I go, I was going to say I've got a bunch of Arch Linux videos coming up, although I trolled everybody with the Windows better than Linux in my last video. It's worth noting I have actually switched back to Linux on my desktop. So I've got a whole series of videos talking through that, the various tools, the dev stuff I've got, and I'm going to catch up with that soon. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you soon. Thanks.